But remember, there was kings there first, fighting with the Jamaicans, with Skelly, with Shower, GT, Trini, and then you had kings in there: Capone, Misery, Poet,
Yep.
Hectech. Yeah,
B.O.
a lot of B.O. There's a lot of different people putting in work. Not
B.O.
Blood B.O.
The King B.O.
King B.O., yeah.
What was his name? Still stand for the same thing? What was
Bug
B.O.?
Out.
Yeah, it was Bug Out.
Bug Out. Okay. So now let's get let's get in.
Listen, you had real shooters on both sides. I'm gonna keep it 100 with
That's
you.
what I heard,
There were
yeah.
shooters on both sides. The only thing is the shooters were limited. Everybody thinks it was a whole There was certain shooters on that side. There was certain shooters on that side, and then you had everybody else to roll the pigtails. Everybody else to roll the wave. That was just trying to get in there. Yo, I'm a king. I need to get on the phone. Or I'm a blood. I need to get. A lot of people using what a lot of people fought for and put in work for.
So let's talk about the cutting. There was a rumor. I don't know the story. You know what I mean? I did speak to Skelly while I was in Jamaica. And the fact that somebody's grandmother got cut.
The rumor was it was his grandmother.
The rumor was it was his grandmother.
That was the rumor that went through everywhere for years.
And he said when I spoke to him, he said that it was a lady, like his grandmother, wasn't necessarily his grandmother.
That was visiting him.
Yes.
Okay. There was his visitor.
So what do you remember? Do you remember that story or what
I remember
happened?
that story.
Can you?
Me and you spoke about it.
Yeah. Can you talk about it now?
I mean, Scully had a lot of beef. I'm gonna keep it real. Scully had a lot of beef.
You remember Scully too, Pastor?
Scully had a lot of beef, and there was a brother that passed away. His name is Blaze, and he tried to get Scully. And in the process of him trying to get Scully, the lady got involved and got cut, scratched, whatever you want to call it, in the process of it. While they were tussling whatever they was doing.
So she didn't really get cut though.
There's rumors that she got $150. Then there's rumors that she caught a little scratch. I really don't know. I wasn't on the floor when it happened. You understand? I'm just saying off what was told.
And also, then there was a guy on here that said that he cut a guy named Blaze. How many Blazes?
He was incorrect about the name. Blaze was not a wild cowboy. Blaze is from 183rd. He used to be what's the word? 183rd. He from the Bronx. The guy he talking about, I think he was talking about Gordo, the fat dude that used to be a wild cowboy.
Down with Pacualito and them?
Yeah, that's who I think he was talking about. He said he cut a wild cowboy that was a king in the rig court. It wasn't Blaze, Little Blaze. It wasn't Short Blaze. That was the Prince Crown of Rikers Island at the time. It wasn't him.
So Blaze was the Prince Crown of Rikers Island.
Yes.
What was your position? Because when I watched the HBO documentary, I watched a clip. You said that you got a high rank in the Latin Kings.
I was the first HOS of the state of New York, and then I rose up the rank, the first head of security in the state of New York. From then I went to the 5th Supreme Crown, 3rd Supreme Crown, became the 2nd Supreme Crown, and I was in conjunction with when Blood had given Super the Inca status. I was close with I became the 1st Supreme Crown.
Let me ask you a question. What do you remember any? Cause I know you have to be careful what you say. What you're doing now. How you doing great things for the community. Salute. Because I don't want to. This is stories in the past. I don't want to. These stories are not present or what's going on now. You know what I mean? Do you remember any situation that you've been involved in personally, or that you witnessed personally, that happened on the island? Because a lot of things were talked about on the show. You know what I mean? A lot of people talk about things, and you guys, I like how you guys talk, but I wouldn't be me if I didn't give you guys
Brother, I'm one of the original 10. I became the head of security, the first head of security in the state of New York, and rose up the ranks. That in and of itself speaks volumes. There's nothing else to be said.
Respect. Did you get along with any Bloods though? That was
Absolutely. My little brother was Blood. Absolutely, I got along with a lot of Bloods. They know that. We were cool. We were cool up north. We were cool in Rikers Island. But, once you get in Rikers Island, there's a line. Real men respect real men. It's not about, tit for tat, you this, that's...
It's a G code. It was a G code.
It's a G code, man. and you can't violate that code. And I was cool with Bloods. I was cool with Crips. I was cool with, it wasn't about no racial stuff, man.
I have a question real quick then, and never, G. We always hear about the Nietas, right? But do anybody know how they started?
Yeah, in Puerto Rico.
Carlos
It was
La Sombra,
Carlos La
right?
Sombra
Carlos La
started
Sombra.
it.
Yeah, Carlos La Sombra started it.
He stopped the abuse. There was a lot of rapes and stuff going on in Puerto Rico. Robberies, there was another gang called the Insects. So the Insects was going around robbing, raping, stealing, doing whatever. So he started a movement to protect the inmate. And that's how their movement started. Was in Puerto
27,
Rico.
right? The Insectos.
The Insectos was the one that was raping and doing all that. And then he started the Nietas
Yep.
What does that mean?
in prison.
Insects.
No, I'm saying
Nieta?
Nieta, yeah.
There's a lot of different things.
Yeah, we don't know. They call themselves the Asociación. We're not too privy about that.
Yeah,
You're going to have to reach out to the Nietas and have them come up here and tell
break
their
it
story.
down.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep it real. There's so many different of what it means.
What's
There's
the
no
meaning?
exact word.
Okay.
Like for us, like a nieta is like your god,
Granddaughter.
your granddaughter. Yeah, your granddaughter, your grandkid.
Chill out, man.
I'm dead serious.
Stop it, man.
Google it.
No, it's
Google
true.
it.
The word nieta in Spanish means granddaughter.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know.
I don't know their breakdown
the
or if
terminology
it's
of
if it's
their name.
If it's an acronym to
yeah,
something,
I don't
Yes.
know that.
got it.
You'll have to invite some of them and come up and let them tell their story.
Right.
Were they tough in jail?
You had a lot. You had a few that was gangsters.
They were putting that work in.
Bailey told me it was a small amount of them.
Small amount of what?
Nietas. He said
Hell
No,
no.
absolutely not.
You out of your
Are
mind.
you crazy?
There was more nietas than Bloods, Kings, and 5%ers put together.
You had nietas from all nationalities, man.
The whole yard was nieta at one point.
Yeah,
Half the
man.
yard. No, hell no. The nietas was the deepest because they took anything. They took white, black, Chinese, man-on-man action. They took whatever. It was. Remember, their thing is about protecting the inmate. Their thing is
Protecting the rights
prisoner.
of the prisoner.
Of the prisoner. That's what they do.
their main key.
So there was even times that them, I don't know if they was legit or not, but they was pushing the applications in people's cells to be part of them. That's a fact.
They are an association.
We're a
in
nation.
Puerto Rican.
It's a difference. We're a nation. They're an association.
Explain the difference of nation and association.
Association is an associate. We're a nation. We have laws that bind us. We have structures.
The
We're
association
organized.
is like a membership.
It's a membership like AAA. Like you part of triple. No, I'm just trying to. I'm just
Nah,
being.
yeah.
I know it sounds funny the
Yeah.
way I said it. I didn't mean it like that, but I'm saying it's like a membership to a group. That's what it is. They're an associate. It's different.
What was the worst thing? What was, because we talked about earlier the war in '86. And let me say this. I definitely want to salute you guys based off how you answer questions. This is why I kind of understand what Bailey was saying. I see that you guys have some sort of structure, some sort of principles. What
We still stand by them to this day.
understood?
Well, a man's supposed to stand by the principles. What does your parents teach you when you're a kid? Not to steal, not to lie, not to rob, to be united with your family, to love your family. That's the same thing any man's supposed to teach their kid. That's what we teach our brothers.
But do you guys condemn any of the kings that might have did things that they weren't supposed to do? Because now you can't
Like
say
what?
every king followed the rules.
No, there wasn't. There was some that didn't follow the rules. That's why either they got kicked out the V,
We stripped them.
or they chose to leave the V because they couldn't abide by the rules we had. You got to understand, extortion is out. A lot of these dudes wanted that bag. So if they seen somebody, they was extorting them. We wasn't allowing that. Didn't matter what color you was. You wasn't extorting a black guy. You wasn't extorting. We were trying to stop that whole movement.
But we didn't ask you, how did you join King? Do you remember how you joined
I
it?
know, of course I do. When I came through in 92, I was in reception. So I was in reception. I was there with a god body, Love. He's half Puerto Rican, half black. And another Puerto Rican kid from Knickerbocker and Troutman. His name is Quick. So we was in there. When I got arrested with my chain. I had a chain with a Santa Barbara.
What is that?
It's a religious
Religious
saint.
Got it.
So I got arrested with it. So when I got there, a Spanish dude, they had they got the suicide aides that come over and watch you to make sure you don't hang up. Usually they're anywhere from 72 hours to a week. It's reception.
Mm-hmm.
So the Spanish dude comes over, he sees the chain, he's like, yo, Papa, you're going to have problems. You should let me hold the chain till your visit come and send it home. Man, get the fuck up out of here, bro. Whatever. So, make a long story short, later on that night, somebody else comes, 2 black kids come, and they try to press me for my chain. And Love knocked one of them out. I got it on with the other dude. We shot the fair one, whatever. They move us up to the 5th floor. When we get to the 5th floor, the Jamaicans got the house on smash. So Love goes to step to the phone. There was some older 5%er there. He from Queens. I don't remember. Supposedly he was part of the Supreme team, but back then everybody was claiming to be part of the team. I think his name was JC, if I'm not mistaken. But so he come back and he's like, yo, these Jamaican dudes ain't giving us no, they're not gonna give us no play on this phone. All right, whatever. They lock us in, whatever. So the next day, we back there figuring out what we're gonna do. You know what I'm saying, to get on his phone. Next thing you know, we hear a big commotion in the front. It's like right after lunch, there's a big commotion. And we see a bunch of beads all over the floor. So Love come, and he like, yo, we gotta move now. All right, whatever. So we start popping off on the Jamaican dudes, defending the Spanish kid that's getting it on with them. Make a long story short, kid turned out to be the first crown of the jail, trying to fight to get on the phone. So they moved all the Jamaicans out the house. CO left us there, told us don't be on the same bullshit. Next thing you know, I was a king.
Brought him home.
That's a true story.
Yo, Pastor, I'm watching you, Pastor. I'm watching you, man. You catching flashbacks. I'm looking in your eyes, man.
Nah, we're trying to keep it political. That's what it was. But the big beefs was the phone.
So,
So how'd you two meet?
Yeah.
First time.
First, we were brothers. Where we met? Suffern?
Yeah, Suffern Supreme Court.
Suffern Supreme Court. He was going to trial. I was going to trial. Remember, we was fighting our cases he was in there 5 years. I was in there 3 and change. So we was always going to court. Suffern Supreme.
We always coincidentally had the same dates at the same time.
And we were both, he was CMC and I was high classification.
Are there any, and I know, because actually you guys' question is like, you guys act like you guys are in some sort of interrogation. You guys watch what you say. Are there any people that represent kings that have been kicked out the V, or you wouldn't say that? Like,
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, well.
Talking about Pete Magoo?
Well, if you know what I'm talking about, I don't have to elaborate.
I mean, listen, I can't tell his story. I could just tell you that he didn't abide by the rules. And that's basically it.
And he turned blood.
He turned blood later on. He ain't turned blood right away.
Do you remember when he was a king?
Yeah, I remember when he was a king.
What type of guy was he? Was he put in pain?
He's a jail dude, bro. He's a jail dude, bro. Magoo wasn't a slouch. I'm not gonna take nothing from no man. You know what I'm saying? He did what he do. You know what I mean? But he couldn't abide by the rules. So
But what was it like the Bloods where what's his name?
You gotta eat food.
OG, huh?
You gotta eat food.
No. OG Mac, where it's like everybody responded because the Bloods. I heard the Bloods decided that they didn't want to follow one.
That I can't tell you.
No,
that.
that's what I'm saying.
But at the time,
was King Blood the guy that made the decisions for everybody? If you understand what I'm saying.
Only when it was a high ranking things
member.
Local, then you have the local chapters or whatever that would make the
and
decision.
you deal with the first crime.
Or you dealt with, but touching another brother was like a no. That's like you can't touch it without permission. You just can't take
You're
that.
not allowed to attack another king.
Nah, not without proper authorization. Nah.
There's a chain of command that you have to go.
You can't do that.
So if you have a problem, what did they
I mean,
suggest?
brothers have, brothers do have problems. There's any family has problems, but at that time, if you put your hands on a brother, there's consequences for that. You know, their blood is sacred, so you can't just touch a brother just like that. We the Spanish mob. That's what it is. You can't just touch it. You can't. It's sacred. I can't tell you Magoo's story. Only Magoo could tell you his story.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not here to talk about nothing and make myself out to be, I'm not trying to do that. I'm just being as honest and real. I'm not saying I ain't put in, but I'm not here to glorify that either. You know, I got kids that's going to be watching this also. So I'm not here to be like, do what I was doing. Nah. It was something, it was a time period that I stood up for what I believed in. You know what I mean? I didn't have problems. I'm going to keep it real. When I went through, I didn't have problems like that. I'll show you pictures with my chain on when they was still taking pictures in Rikers Island. You understand what I'm saying? It wasn't really me. It was more, you had all these dudes coming in, didn't speak English. Yo, papi, mira, me están haciendo esto. Oh, da, da, da. So I got to the point, bro, that I was just like, I got tired of hearing this shit all day. And I'm only seeing my people getting picked on. And now I'm like the only communication they got because I speak Spanish and English. So who they coming to all day with the thing? Yo, boom, boom, boom. So it got to that point that I was like, yo, fam, you gonna let this, nah, you not. So I had to represent. And that's really what the beef was about.
So, okay, and you guys tried your best to just.
We come from a different era.
You got to understand, look, you got dudes that, like I told you, they're predators. They come in, you got kicks. I don't need nothing, bro. I ain't gonna take nothing. That's not my stilo. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I got my fam in New York. If not, one way or the other, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna hustle. I'm gonna do what I gotta do. But I'm not that type of dude to look at you and be like, yo, I want that. I'm gonna take that from son. That wasn't my thing in jail. You understand what I'm saying? I'm too worried about getting home to my family. I'm too worried about making sure my son, somebody getting some bread for my son, or somebody going to see my moms. I'm not worried about none of that. That shit is irrelevant to me. You know what I'm saying? As long as I got phone time and I'm getting on that jack, I don't give a fuck about the TV. I don't give a fuck about Spanish channel. I don't give a fuck. But you gonna let me talk on prime time. I'm getting on that horn on prime time. After 8, I'm getting on that horn. And
that's how we met.
That's
we
was.
We were fighting for our lives, man. We didn't have time for pettiness like that.
Fuck about that
your
shit.
lives against the system.
We got
the
a system.
I'm being oppressed by the
us,
system.
Man.
Got it.
They trying to put our lights on, man. They you know, we becoming an endangered, black and brown is becoming an endangered species, man, right now, man. And you know, and back then we didn't have the mindset or the wisdom, man, to see the bigger picture that was happening. Understood. You got 2.3 million black and brown individuals, brothers and sisters inside them human warehouses, man. You got 1.3 million African Americans and Latinos under some type of supervision and parole. You got 1.6 million children with a parent in prison. They trying to kill us, man. And we inside. You think we got time to fight for a damn sneaker that
wasn't us?
It wasn't us,
It
man.
wasn't about what we was about. You know what I'm saying?
So, and you know, we have to wrap it up. Is it before we get to ask you guys, is there anything you're missing?
We're missing a lot, but
for real still?
There's a lot of things that a lot of people.
It's history.
You gotta understand. Like, look, a lot of people talk about, we had beef with blacks. How was I in the same house with half the time? I was in 5 North with Shaquel. He was an OG. Mm-hmm. How many times me and you was in the pen with Deadeye?
We were probably, the only 2 Latinos with Deadeye and everybody inside the bullpen.
Scully was in the pens with us going to Suffering Supreme.
We were eating bologna sandwiches.
Remember, we in Suffering Supreme. What is the domination in Queens at the time, in Queens House, and all the cases being caught in Queens? Mm-hmm. Majority black. Right. Let's be for real. Suffering Supreme was, you go to Queens House, it's like 80% black, like 5% white, and then the rest, there's a little bit few Latinos. But at that time, you remember, we talking the end of the crack era, right? When everybody was getting swept up, when 91, 92, blocks was getting picked up in Jamaica, Queens on South Road.
Yeah,
and
vans
everything.
full of dudes,
Come
man.
on, Queensbridge, Story Projects, Woodside Projects. You had this shit. Fall Rockaway alone that shit was crazy. So how was we oppressing blacks? No, we was oppressing predators. We was oppressing those that came in and was like, yo, what's up with them kicks? What's up with this? Nah, you ain't getting that over here. It wasn't popping. You know what I'm saying? Why you always coming at Poppy? Why you ain't taking your man's sneakers? That's how it started becoming. You understand what I'm saying? Because y'all always want to pick on the dude that don't speak no English. He can't stand up for himself. I'm going to stand up for him. And that's how we all started uniting.
Either we stand
You
up for
understand what
them
I'm
or we
saying?
die.
So now you got to understand the same predator mentality that was going on with the 5%ers. It just all let up. You got certain dudes that just was part of it. Certain dudes was racist off the rip. They just wanted war. Germans. And then you had certain dudes on my side. Yo, Moreno. So it goes back and forth. You know what I'm saying? And then you got the police. Spanish cops. Yo, watch my man tear your man's head off. Watch my man's. Let's see. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. You got to see the reality of it.
And the reality is that you guys, it wasn't like a Spanish and black thing like that is portrayed.
It was turning into that, but that's not really what it was. It became that afterwards. Like I was telling you, like certain housing units and certain jails, that shit wasn't rocking like that. You understand? Look at the corruption that was going on in Rikers. You know what I'm saying? You had dudes, imagine this, you fighting your case. I'm going to tell you a story about this kid named Stokes before we wrap this up. He's a black kid from Brooklyn, right?
What's his name?
Stokes, right? He was locked up. His girl used to come visit him. You remember Stokes that he was in CMC?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, CEO, she stopped coming to see him. What the fuck going on? He keep trying.
Everybody knows the story.
So, make a long story short, CEO bagged his girl on the visit. So he already had heard something, so finally she come to visit him. She come visit him. He takes her earring, rips her earring off and blasts her on a visit. His girl. Right? Son gets moved to CMC in Queens House. I'm right across from CMC. I'm in a high classification. I'm playing cards. Some's cool ass dude. All of a sudden you hear 3 shots. Bah! 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 Inside Queens House. Kendu gets shot. Kendu from Queens. Stokes gets shot 3 times. And another dude gets shot 3 times. Who brought the gun in? Where the fuck the gun came in from? Mind you, every jail he was going to, he was getting beat up by police. Every single jail. Because he ended up getting at the police too. At the CO. Every jail he went to. So you're going to tell me that's not corruption?
Did he die?
It's the code of blue. Nah, he got they slayed him.
Yeah, he's got life.
He got slayed.
Yeah,
He was trying to sue them and all that. Because, yo, they fucked him up bad. How the fuck you get a gun into Queen's house?
Yeah, he ain't going to see the light of day again.
You know what I'm saying? So there was a lot of corruption. You could ask Bailey about that story too. You know what I'm saying? Come on, bro. Imagine you fighting for your life. You fighting for your life. You got to fight for your clothes. You got to fight to get on the phone. And then you got to deal with getting put in a box. Imagine being in this room for a year straight. You think you're going to come out of this normal? You know what I'm saying? Come on. That shit is crazy what they was doing to some people in there. 2 years, 3 years in the box. That's why half the dudes that come out is like, come on. You know what I'm saying? Even after 20 years, after 10 years, you still got that shit is crazy. That shit drives you up the fucking wall. The shit they do to certain people. You got roaches, that's your friends in there, all type of shit. You talking to the cell, thinking that somebody's there. Yo, that shit drives you nuts.
So how do you guys feel that you out now? Like, did you guys feel as affected as other people? Or
I really didn't do as much time as a lot of them did, to be honest with you. I came home and I caught a violation. I ended up back on the island. 96, 97, I came home. I've been home ever since, bro. I've been home since 97, so, you know what I mean?
when you first came home, did you feel like affected by
Of course I did. Of course I did. You know what I'm saying? One day I flipped out on my sister when she ain't knock on the table. You know what I'm saying? When she was getting up. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to knock on the table. You're not supposed to talk while you eating up north and stuff. So you knock on the table, letting know you getting up. They knock twice and they acknowledge that you getting up so you can watch you ain't talking over people's food. And I spazzed out one time on my sister. You get institutionalized with certain things. You know what I'm saying? Bro, you get used to carrying razors, bro. You start getting used to it. You already got your shit in the suitcase ready just in case you gotta.
You still washing your underwear in the shower. It's taking a shower
That
with your
took
slippers,
me a long
man.
time to get out of that. Even
Yeah,
at
man.
home.
I did
Wife be like,
20
why your drawers all in the shower? You think it's a chick's house when she's washing.
Yeah,
My
man.
drawers being, because I'm just.
I did 20 straight, man, and you still feel the effects of it, man. You know, and I
Imagine
mean,
you going, there was no cell phones. You had to carry
Nah.
a fucking, the block shits, and you come home, everybody on a cell phone. I was going in, it was beepers.
Yeah, man. We had beepers, Motorola's with the phone with the
Yeah.
plastic antennas, big long phones. I mean, it's a cultural shock, man, and you know you
Yeah,
still
but
don't get
like I
used
said, a
to it.
lot of the stories that were told, it was one-sided from their view. Maybe that's how they was living, bro. I wasn't a Bing monster, bro. I'm gonna keep it real. I wasn't a Bing monster, bro. I
What does
wasn't
that
a Bing
mean?
monster. Bing monster's a dude that loved living in the Bing.
Love living
They
in the
love the
box.
Bing. They love the Bing. They come out, they want to hit something so they could go right back where they was at. Cause they're more comfortable there. That's where they at. Some dudes is just that's how it is. You understand what I'm saying? It's just how it is. A lot of dudes was Bing monsters. You know what I'm saying? It's just the reality of it. You know what I'm saying? But all that oppression and all that, it wasn't even like that. You could ask the COs. Just like you had Bailey, get a couple more to tell you if that's how it was. You know what I'm saying?
But let me ask, you guys spent the whole night asking us questions. Would you allow us to ask you a question? You allow me to ask you a question? What is the purpose of these podcasts? What is your purpose? What is your goal in putting these stories out there, man?
I mean, you know, it's to give the people the content that they want. You know, when we first started about 3 years ago, we wanted to do something a little different. So, you know, we use both our personalities to try to put something together for some content. You know, he's the wild and crazy one. I'm the cool and, you know, calm one. You know, kind of like night and day. You know what I mean? So we you know, and him, he do like a lot of pranks online. So we try to use that image with my image on the show and interview guests, celebrities. But now the last few shows has been like, you know, the fans are really interested in, you know, the
War
OG
stories.
stories and the war stories. And
I know they're not gonna be too happy with this one. They was expecting us being there. Oh, I cut this dude. I did this. I did that.
Nah, but they definitely
It's-
they love to hear it because
I mean, I'ma
in
be
the
real.
comments they saying that they want to hear the
Yeah,
you
but
know,
I'm
the
not
real
gonna be
stories.
here and glorified. Yo, I got hit up. I hit up dudes. I got hit up with a Glock in there. Glock is a plastic fiberglass gun. I got hit. I got cut here. We've all been through war stories, but that doesn't make them. They were soldiers. I was a soldier. At the
Right.
end of the day, we was at war. We popped it off.
Well, let me say this. You know, from my perspective, you know, with the viral success that I have and the following, you know, my main focus was to maintain that with the videos. You know, we had the podcast, and as far as this message, you know, I have to salute, you know, Bimmy, and I have to salute Soul B because, you know, he helped us start a trend
I
that.
was locked up with Bimmy. You know that, right?
No, I didn't know that.
In Queens House, young boy. When
Oh,
he first he was dating, I think Bobby Brown's sister.
Yeah,
he got
yeah,
a
yeah.
package. I remember that shit because he was on the 5th floor. He got a package full of Bobby Brown, all type of prerogative stuff. He started giving everybody shirts and
Yeah.
everything because he got bailed out of there.
he started it, and then, you know, like I said, B.O. Soul B, you know, and it just took on a life of its own. Now, if you ask me what's my goal and what's my message, it's not to have the young people glorify it, because that's not what I'm trying to do.
Right.
Because every OG, besides some of them, but even the ones that want to come on, they say that, you know, I don't mind telling my story, but I want to tell what I'm doing now as far as telling the youths not to go my path, and that's the route that I'm on as well.
That's what
Do
we
you
trying
see
to
this
keep
young man that's right here?
Him, yes.
This is my nephew. For years, my nephew has been asking me, is it true about what you said? Is it true what people are saying in the street that you did this, you did that? And I brought him on the show here, not only for him to understand the history of where we came from, but to understand and let him know that we don't glorify that lifestyle. You know, if we can turn back the hands of time and change and undo these things, we would without any hesitation whatsoever. The sad part is, because I've been following you guys for a while. I've been looking, I've been quiet, and by happenstance, my brother Cano reaches out to me, and I'm like, we haven't seen each other in 30 years.
Oh wow.
Last time I seen him, I told you, was in the cell when he was like, take that.
That was the last time him and I saw each other. Wow. So when he reached out,
Face to face. That's the last time we saw each other. It was back then.
when he reached out and he said, yo, Ben, he said, these brothers are doing this brother, you know, and we think that, you know, our brothers think that, you know, we would be adequate to tell our story because of who we are and our reputation, because we've never folded. So the brothers said, all right, cool. And I said, all right, cool, I'll go up there. But as I'm watching the podcast, it saddened me to see that, to read the comments and what people say glorifying this stuff. It's like, To be a true gangster is the man who gets up at 4 o'clock in the morning and handles, put the food on the plate, and does whatever he has to do. Anybody can pick up a knife and hit a dude, cut some dude, or shoot. But it takes a real gangster to remove yourself from that lifestyle and
Get up every day.
And get up every day and raise up your family. And that's the type of impression I'm trying to give him.